All right, well, good morning, and what is up, everybody? Keith Jameson, go back to guy 231 across the DFS Street. It's early Wednesday morning, here to break down the 6-game UCL main slate. Just a quick note on yesterday's slate. So there's people that are thinking like, oh my goodness, we were stacking Real Madrid as a big favorite, and they let down, and are we going to go back to that with Bayern, which we're going to get to here in a minute, who's a huge favorite? Liverpool was, what was it, the third biggest favorite, and they won the GPPs. So all that's being correct. And in GPPs, you should differentiate. Keep in mind, we're looking at like an optimal lens here. What's most likely to happen, where we should be going in like cash games, head-to-heads, single entry, that type of stuff. And on Real Madrid, they finished the game with like 30-something shots and multiple big chances missed. You replay the game, and you could have ended with the same type of shots. I could have ended 4-1, 4-0. Maybe the reality is like playing up for Courtois. I talked about that yesterday, that I almost never like paying up all the way in Champions League, just because there's so many different keepers to go, so many other places to use the salary. So, I just want to bear that in mind, that, it wasn't like Real Madrid got dominated, right? They still got 30-something shots. I was locked on Hazard, Benzema, and Vinicius Jr., all of which had double-digit floors. Benzema scored the goals. So, sometimes it's just the results are the results. Like, one of the things I say in our FSI chat so often, when people will ask me, this player, and, if all else is equal, like, both have like a set share or both are active in open play, that type of stuff, the answer is whoever does better, right? Because, ultimately it's going to be a result type of thing. Now, I can easily say, yesterday, if somebody asked me Vinicius Jr. versus, somebody at Atletico Madrid, obviously the answer is Vinicius Jr. But, when things are equal, so often in this game, it is a results-driven business. All right, let's jump into the games. This is going to be a quick preview, because I think it's a very straightforward slate with Bayern. Not a ton of other places we want to target. So just a quick reminder, like, subscribe, comment, all really, really does help. We do greatly appreciate all the support on these videos. Let's just get right into it. Enough of my soliloquies, sales, all that stuff. Let's just go. All right. And I pick up the wrong screen right away. It's always a good start. Okay, Bayern hosting Kiev, minus 1250 favorite. We got a total here of going north to 4, because, Bayern happens to have that number 1 striker in the world. Yes, Haaland's there. Yes, Ronaldo's there. I'll take Lewandowski any day of the week. I think he's going to be the most chalky play on the entire slate. High scoring odds. I don't look at the odds, but I know they're the highest scoring odds. I'm sure there's like close to even money for 2, probably like minus 500 or 600 for 1. Just scored, what was it, 2 versus Barcelona last round. Crazy enough, Lewandowski did not score last game, versus, I can't even say the name. I joked that it's called Julian Green's team for our American son over there. But, I think Lewandowski is primed to go to blow up here, and versus a Kiev team that is going to be very, very unmatched. The question is not, in my opinion, whether you put Lewandowski. It's what you do with the rest of the line. We're going to look at the odds the rest of the game, but you're going to notice this is the best spot by far. Bayern, very DFS friendly, very, very attack driven under Nagelsmann. So to me, in like a cash and optimal sense, the next click becomes Joshua Kimmich, who's on 100% of set pieces. Typically, I would be talking about right now how I think Kimmich is potentially a good GPP fade, because what you'll end up finding in builds is you can fit Lewandowski, Kimmich, and then 2 of these guys. You can do that, and it's not that big of a sweat. Should you? That's going to be a results question. But from a process standpoint, taking a team that might score 4 goals and taking 3 big pieces, or even 4 big pieces, makes a ton of sense. I think that a good GPP move could still be fade Kimmich. Kimmich gets very, in the past, can get very set dependent. Now, he has a great floor. He's going to just show up with 7, 8, 9 DK, with or without a goal. Like that's Kimmich's game. I don't have much doubt on that. But typically it was, well, he needed to get an assist or he needed to get a goal to unlock his, ceiling. And he wouldn't necessarily score a ton of goals from his deep spot. He wears number 6 and he plays very much like more of an 8, 6, a 6 to 8, kind of going box to box. He has free reign. But now he has 3 goals in the last 2 games. If you go back to the last 5, has a total of 3 goals, 2 assists. Now versus Barcelona, I like the fade and I survived. But here I think it's scary. He's got to have a monopoly set pieces. Maybe monopoly is the wrong way to say it. Sane could grab a few, but as long as Kimmich wants to run over the ball, he takes all of them. Now I think Sane will be increasingly popular. Has looked a lot better this year. Again, every once in a while set piece, but good open play value. I had the assist versus Barcelona last time. Gnabry has been in and out the lineup, but we know he has huge upside, especially in the Champions League. The guy just loves to score goals. And then Thomas Muller is Muller. He has a great relationship with Lewandowski. I don't know if there's much to say about Muller. Like, you don't get a ton of like crosses or your normal floor type of stuff, but he shows up with assists, shots assisted, and goals. So, like, what else could you want? If you want to be contrarian, Leon Goretzka, freaking Superman over here, always just seems to show up too. Whether it's goals, whether it's points. So I think, that's a way to get maybe a little bit less ownership. The fullbacks are kind of pricey to me. I would much rather spend up for the attackers, but maybe that's a route to, be a little contrarian. I don't necessarily know that you want to go there in cash. Alphonso Davies can cross a little bit. Pavard can get forward and, be on the end of headers, but neither one of them has like a floor necessarily worth their tag. I believe Dave, and let me make sure that the prices on them, but I think they're both pretty expensive. Yeah, Davies 6,000, Pavard 51. So again, just based on where construction goes, if you want to fit multiple Bayern attackers, it's going to be hard to do that. Now, Nicolas Sule at 3,000, freaking giant of a man here. I just want to look it up, make sure. 109. Of course, they would put it in the center. I have no idea. He's like 6'4", 6'5". He's huge, just absolutely enormous. So it's funny when he was swinging right back, and you see this gargantuan man out there on the wing. But he's only 3,000, so I like that as a punt. He won Tindrell Storm a King of the Pitch seat last year with a headed goal. So. I think that's a good way to get even more Bayern. So, all right, I think I covered Bayern there. There's a lot of good plays, but certainly Lewandowski, Kimmich, and cash. Pick at least one of these attackers. Move on. If you want to pick 2, you can do that too. Kiev, no, there's nobody in Kiev that I want to play. To Senegal, Carlos de Pena, potentially set pieces, but sometimes I will draw on a little diagram. Doesn't matter. When I don't even want to look up the set pieces. They're too big of a dog. There's too many other spots to go. You're not going to go that way. Can you roster Bushcan like the Sheriff goalkeeper yesterday? Absolutely. A really good shot expectation, but nothing else. All right. Second game I want to go over is Manchester United hosting Villarreal. Before we get too much out of the way on United from a DFS standpoint, I'm not going to go real football. DFS standpoint has been awesome. The last 3 games, just tons of open play value, tons of crossing, tons of shooting, all that stuff. Now, my pause on saying that you should play 4 Bayern attackers is because I think there's a really good shot in cash that Bruno Fernandes should be part of your build. We don't have Luke Shaw here. Yes, we have Alex Telles. I think it's Telles. He's Brazilian. I don't know how to do that right. But he could take some set pieces, but we've seen now Bruno Fernandes in the last 2 games very much be unlocked, taking some corners, very much still being the center of everything United does, just working to try to distribute to Ronaldo. So Bruno Fernandes is only 9,100, which is, we're used to paying upwards of 11,000 on EPL slates. They're minus 200 at home in really a must win. Must win for the Champions League because they lost versus Young Boys, which they needed to win. Must win because they're on a little skid. Must win for Bruno's confidence after soaring the PK that still hasn't landed in London at the end of last game. So I really like Bruno here. Up to you if you want to play a Bayern piece or Bruno. I think for just pure floor, Bruno's better decision. You also have Ronaldo there. Obviously, he's minus 200 favorite. It's Ronaldo. It's the Champions League. Is he going to score? Probably. For me, it's going to come down to he's 10,000. I think that's fine. I think Bruno has better floor. Lewandowski is just Lewandowski. I prefer him. So, where does Ronaldo fit in? Maybe Ronaldo kind of goes under-owned here because of all the Bayern exposure. So maybe that's a good little stack. Bruno, Ronaldo, just play Lewandowski. You probably can still finish Kimmich, fit in Kimmich, or like play Lewandowski and more. That's an interesting GPP concept there. See how it all fits. All right. Pogba, Greenwood, fine plays. Just if I'm going to spend up for United, it's going to be for Bruno or Ronaldo. If you want a full stack, you go for it. But I just think the way that the slate's going to shake out, it's Bruno and Ronaldo from United. Maybe Tejas. I don't like that his price is so high. Like I was hoping he'd be maybe 4,500, and they have him over here at 57. We saw him sub off early in the cup. I don't know if they can do that here without Shaw healthy, but this isn't the Tejas of Porto, but I think it's fine. Delo, fine. Just none of these are crazy good options. I think defender for me, because I'm going to try to spend up for 4 top end guys, is just going to be a punt chance. Like Sule at 3,000 looks great to me. Okay, for Villarreal, Danny Parejo always in play. You never know how he gets there. He just does. I don't see Gerard Moreno there. Oh, he's out. So that means Parejo would be on PKs too, for what it's worth. But I think Gerard Moreno is a big deal for Villarreal. Now, Unai Emery always seems to kind of just annoy these EPL teams since he left. So it'll be interesting. He might have a really good defensive strategy for United. That doesn't mean United's not going to score fantasy points. Like you can play great defense and allow a ton of fantasy points in soccer. It's a cool aspect. So I think Parejo is the only player you really consider from Villarreal. Danjuma, former Bournemouth fame. He has a floor. Paco Alcacer for GPP, maybe there. Alberto Moreno, former Liverpool fame. I don't know. All these guys are just there. I'm not going out of my way to target any of them. All right, especially as a plus 600 dog versus a United team that we know wants to get points. All right, Juve versus Chelsea. Speaking of a game that you don't know what to do with, Juve plus 275 at home. Would never expect to see that, but here we are. Juve is just not playing very well at all. Now, their best player and the only player I would consider at all from them is Federico Chiesa. Chiesa looks absolutely amazing. One of the best players in Serie A. He was one of the best players in the Euros. Taking a monopoly set pieces for them. Now, he might lose some to Juan Cuadrado. Juan Cuadrado was not in last game, but Chiesa was even taking over Dybala. For Juve, though, their injury list, not having Dybala, not having Morata is huge. So, to me, it's pick Chiesa or move on. I think Moise Kean and Kulusevski are going to have their hands full with Chelsea's defense. Chelsea themselves is coming off of a bad loss versus City. So, I expect a response from Chelsea here. So it's Chiesa for Juventus and optimal build. Nothing else I'm really going to be touching there. From Chelsea, they themselves are going to be missing Reece James and potentially Mason Mount, and I believe Pulisic. So it'll be interesting to see their lineup. Based on this, I think Marcos Alonso, to me, does become the best pay-up defender. Should 100% have a share of set pieces, probably a split with Ziyech, depending on who else we see. If we do end up seeing Mount or Pulisic, you might see them on sets too. But we can feel pretty good that Alonso is on sets. I just don't know how much. I know I'm switching screens. Just listen to me while I'm looking at prices. But I don't know how much DFS goodness I expect from this game at all. I think the more I talk and think about it, I don't think too much. Chelsea's going to play pragmatically. I'm assuming that they're going to come out a little bit more attacking than we saw them versus City. But even Chelsea at its best, like, aren't that super DFS friendly. Like, they're super DFS friendly when they're playing like Burnley at home and it's the 50th minute and they haven't scored and they're just tossing in crosses. But otherwise, they want to play on the ground. They want to, play through movements, get it to Lukaku. It's not necessarily going to just be like crossing and praying. Like, we like cross and pray teams because they score a lot of DFS teams or a lot of DFS points. So I wanted to see Azpilicueta 4,300. I don't think is bad playing wing back without James there. We know that he'll probably play, 80, 90 minutes out there on the right. Lukaku 9,300. I don't think anybody will go there, meaning it's pretty decent GPP play. All right, I think that's good. We're gonna get through these quick now. There's not gonna be a lot left that we're gonna love. Salzburg hosting Lille. Salzburg is a super interesting YOLO GPP dart that nobody's gonna go here. And at home, they could score a decent amount of goals. Your total here is just a little over 2.5 though. Their sets should be split with Susic and Seawald. Susic, really, really nice young player. Seawald too, just Susic is the more attacking of the two. Believe he's like 6,000. I think it's a nice mid-tier play. Unchecked. I don't use desktop a lot, can you tell? Yeah, 6,500. Yeah, I think it's a nice play. Pair him up with like Okafor, Ademi, Aronson, Seawald. You can do a lot of things here. They're all kind of in that cheapish range. But your fours are Sucic and Seawald. And then everybody else is more like goal or bust guy. But, Lille has not been playing that well. So this could be a spot where, Salzburg could catch them a little bit. And you could catch the field, not really owning much here. So I like Salzburg a little bit there. From Lille, Xhaka is probably one of the best value plays on the entire slate. Just based on how things are setting up now, Xhaka is taking almost monopoly set pieces. It's only 4,000. Yes, he's playing defensive midfield and in the center, so you're reliant on sets, but it's 4,000 for a set taker. Like in a cash type of build, you go for it. And GPP, maybe not very much upside there, and you're better off going somewhere else. Weah, Angel Gomes, both good young players. Jonathan David, I always love, but those are GPP. Björk Yilmaz, PKs, again, GPP. Salzburg's going to concede one probably. That's just what Salzburg does. They're just so attacking. So, playing one of these guys is like a YOLO dart. I don't think it's a bad move at all. All right, Wolfsburg and Sevilla, absolute vomit emoji for DFS here. You got Sevilla just a slight road dog. This is going under 2.5, so 2 total. So, we're looking at goalies potentially. For Wolfsburg, you have Arnold and Philip, which be a set split. Weghorst is their best player. Well, Arnold's their best player, but Weghorst is their top scorer. That's about all I have to say for Wolfsburg. For Sevilla, God, Sevilla sucks because they always sub at inopportune times. It always seems to be somebody's going to go off or somebody's on sets that you didn't expect. So literally their sets could be Acuna, could be Gomez, could be Lamela. And then if all those guys are out, potentially Joe and Jordan, Jesus Navas is a pretty decent crosser in open play. Lucas Ocampos is back and a good player on PKs. And I probably want none of them in an optimal build. So that's Sevilla in a nutshell. Finally, Benfica hosting Barcelona. Never would I ever expect to have Barcelona as my last team that I go over in a preview, yet here we are. Let's talk about Barcelona. There's one and only one player that you would want to consider. That's Memphis Depay. Would you be playing Memphis Depay over Bruno? No. Would you play him over Lewandowski? No. Would you play him over another Bayern piece? Probably not. So would you play him over Chiesa? Probably. That's where I rank Bruno. I've always been asked, like, where do I rank? And it's kind of like, would I play him over this guy, versus just like a number standpoint. So Memphis, monopoly sets, looks great. It's definitely slowed down a bit from his, starting, like where he started. Barcelona may start moving on a little bit more when Fati gets in. Until then, they just really lack a lot of, ability to finish in the final third. Nothing about that lineup really scares you. So I think Benfica at home, this is not a spot that like I'm wanting to target Barcelona at all. Barcelona is a slight favorite. I think that that's more of a bookie number because of the name. I think Benfica has a really good chance to win this game or get a point. Let's go to the Benfica side. Their sets are a little bit tough, but Grimaldo, I like a lot. Should be over a piece. João Mario potentially, and Lazaro potentially too. But where's Grimaldo's price, I wonder? 5,500, I think is fine. It's not like I need it in my lineup, but I think it's fine. I don't know. I think this whole game is GPP. Grimaldo, if you enter their cash, like last guy in as a defender, I think it's fine. Same with like João Mario, Lazaro, Silva, Nunez, but like none of them are gonna like elicit a response that like, oh my gosh, I want these guys. So, all right, that's the slate. Hope that helps. Get your Bayern right. Decide on Bruno or Ronaldo, and then fill in your pieces. You know, I think you should have a good build. Should have gone over a decent amount of plays that will help you today. So thank you all so much for watching. Quick reminder, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. And if you are interested in all the premium content, the chat room, the player formations where we label, you know, cash, GPP, set pieces, all that, make sure you give us a go and a shot. The link is in the details, and I will let you go. Good luck today, everybody. And with that, I'll say, see you.